So far this week, we've talked about H. Richard Niebuhr's description of what he calls the conversionist type of Christianity, or more formally, what he also calls the Christ transformer of culture type. I should have already made clear that what Niebuhr means by conversionist is not related to evangelism. It's not about converting people to Christianity. Rather, it's about seeking to transform culture into an ever more just culture. Those who gravitate toward this type of Christianity, and they span a wide theological spectrum, understand the world to be the good creation of a good and loving God, but a world that has become a distorted version of itself. Because they understand the world this way, good but flawed, they are able to engage in the world without either condemning it on the one hand or praising it uncritically on the other. Yesterday we saw that one of the things that underlies this is their understanding of sin. Sin is seen as a corruption of created goodness, but not as a total destruction of it. St. Augustine expressed it best when he said that because everything was created by God, everything retains some measure of goodness. So, without in any way denying the pervasive reality of sin, he could say whatever is good. Today, I want to walk through what sin for this type of Christianity looks like to Niebuhr. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. For the conversionist, the whole of creation has become a corrupted version of itself. The story of Adam and Eve, whether you take it as a historical account or as a parable, introduces this idea in the opening chapters of the Bible. According to this story, God created everything good, but for some reason, temptation by the nefarious serpent, curiosity, desire, self-will, not only are the two people corrupted, but their corruption infects the whole world, the whole of creation. Now, it's best not to dwell too long on the story by asking questions of it that it doesn't answer. It simply introduces the idea that nature, both human nature and the world in general, has become, for whatever reason, a corrupt, distorted version of what God intended for it. No sense in wondering why. It simply is. As Niebuhr's more famous brother, Reinhold Niebuhr, put it, original sin is the only empirically verifiable doctrine of the Christian faith. Really, all one has to do is observe the world to see sin on full display every day. H. Richard Niebuhr put some thinking into this idea, and he called it corruption. He wrote, "The word that must be used here is corruption. Man's good nature has become corrupted. It is not bad as something that ought not to exist, but warped, twisted, and misdirected. He loves with the love that is given him in creation, but loves things wrongly, in the wrong order. He desires good with the desire given him by his Maker, but aims at goods that are not good for him and misses the true good." One of Niebuhr's students, University of Chicago theologian James Gustafson, extended this idea in a brilliant and insightful chapter of his two-volume work, Ethics from a Theocentric Perspective. He calls this corruption the human fault and describes four elements of it. There are four facets of the human fault that are experienced, I dare to affirm, by all human beings. The Christian tradition, he continues, has had insight into all four: the experience of misplaced trust or confidence, the traditional problem of idolatry, the experience of misplaced valuations of objects of desire, the traditional problem of wrongly ordered love, the experience of erroneous perceptions of the relations of things to each other and of our understanding of things, the traditional problem of corrupt rationality, and the experience of unfulfilled obligations and duties, the traditional problem of disobedience. In other words, we have a maddening tendency to love the wrong things. We place other people and things at the center of our lives, a place which rightly belongs to God alone. And even when we love the right things, we tend to love them for the wrong reasons. How often do people love their spouses, but love them for what they can do for them or how they can make them feel, rather than love them the way God loves them? We value many good things, but get their valuations out of order. We see this particularly in our contemporary politics, where winning at all costs threatens to undermine or to even destroy basic democratic values and practices. And who among us hasn't at some point failed to live up to obligations we've taken freely, only to let them go unfulfilled just because they are no longer convenient or advantageous to us? How do we get out of this conundrum? How do we free ourselves from these different facets of sin? Well, the short answer is we'll never fully and completely free ourselves by our own efforts, but there is still hope. And that's what we'll take up tomorrow, where the conversionist finds hope for this broken world. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.